angle depression. It says an angle of elevation is an angle that slopes up from the horizontal. That's confusing, right? Angle of depression is an angle that slopes down. An angle that slopes down from the horizontal. Let's say that, here's a good way to describe it. You got a lighthouse. Okay, and you're standing up on top of this lighthouse for some reason. And you've got somebody else standing there down here on the ground. Your angle of elevation, if you're standing on the ground, would be the angle that you're looking at that person on the lighthouse. This is the angle of elevation. The angle of depression, okay, if you was looking straight out, it'd be that. The angle of depression is the angle at which that other person would be looking down. This is the angle of elevation. This is the angle of depression. In this case, anybody tell me what's true about the angle of elevation and depression? It is congruent. Why are they congruent? Let's see how much you learned in geometry. Alternate interior angles. Those two lines would be parallel. The horizontals, that's the reason they call them the horizontals, because they're flat with the ground. These horizontals, okay, you've got another line cutting it. This angle would be the same thing as this angle. It's like in a Z. In a Z, if those bottoms and tops were parallel, these two angles should be the same. Yeah. But anyway, that's what angle of depression and angle of elevation are. You will have one of those. It says two boats lie on a straight line with the base of a lighthouse. From the top of the lighthouse, 21 meters above water level, it is observed that the angle of depression to the nearest boat is 53 degrees, and the angle of depression of the farthest boat is 27 degrees. Let's again draw a picture of a lighthouse. That's what lighthouses look like. That's a good lighthouse. You have two boats. You have a boat that's way out here, and you've got a boat that's closer. That's a boat. From the top of the lighthouse, that's 21 meters above water level. So you got this lighthouse is 21 meters. It says it is observed that the angle of depression to the nearest boat is 53 degrees. So let's draw that. You're looking straight out. The angle of depression would be this angle here, 53 degrees. Makes sense. And it says the angle of depression, well, it gives you both of these angles of depressions. This big angle, 53 degrees. The angle of depression to the farthest boat is, what did it say? 27 degrees. Probably overheating. And we've got to figure out how far apart are the boats. We don't need, well, yeah. Let's get rid of this line. Let's look at, because we're dealing with triangles, we'd rather talk about triangles here. If this angle is 53, anybody tell me what this angle would be? Yeah, 37, good. So we're not worried about the 53 anymore. And if this angle is 27, anybody tell me what this angle would be? Good, 63. 90 minus 27. So now we are just dealing with triangles. And actually right triangles. You notice you have, and that's the first step you need to do. You've got a small right triangle and you've got a large right triangle. You've got a 21. Okay, and we want to find out, okay, how far out are these boats from the lighthouse? Let's look at the smaller triangle first. Let me do it in red. Look at this triangle first. The 63 is the big one, 37 is the small one. So now, dealing with the small triangle, we've got the 37. And we're looking for how far out is that boat. That would be opposite and adjacent, which would be tangent of your angle, 37, equals opposite over adjacent. Somebody figure out what x is for me, please. Good, which is 15.8 meters. Any questions? 15. Now let's look at the bigger triangle and find out how far out is the larger boat. It is both. Now we're dealing with the 63 degrees. So you've got opposite over adjacent again. So the tangent of tangent of 63 degrees equals opposite over adjacent, which we'll call our opposite x again, over adjacent. So x is 21 times tangent of 63. And be careful, because that tells you this whole side. The whole side of the triangles. 41 point what? So 41.2. And the problem says, how far apart is your boats? Well, if this one's 41.2 meters from the lighthouse, this one is 15.8 meters from the lighthouse. Subtract those. How far apart are they? 25.4 meters apart. Any questions?